It's been a while since I've created my last video, and DigitalOcean has been busy creating new products that developers and server administrators can use across the board. One of those I'm going to talk about today is called Spaces, and it's very similar to Amazon's S3 simple storage service. It's pretty much the same thing, but just DigitalOcean's rendition. So one thing that is kind of neat is that if you're going to be hosting your site, maybe on a droplet with DigitalOcean, you don't have to store your static assets on Amazon S3 anymore. You can just host them on DigitalOcean. And again, you'd probably want to do the same thing if you have like EC2 instances. You probably want to host your assets with Amazon as well. But then maybe you want to think about your redundancy, and you probably want to have stuff a little bit everywhere, just so in case one thing goes down, you still have a backup. So again, here's Spaces, and we're going to talk about how to go ahead and get started and create our first space. I'm actually going to create two spaces, but we'll get to that in a second. So I'm going to create one of my spaces using DigitalOcean, using their web administration panel. I'm going to create another space using Transmit, and I'll go ahead and how we connect our DigitalOcean account to Transmit and actually connect to DigitalOcean through that. All right, so let's go ahead and create a space. And I'm going to name this first one. So I'm going to name it TY Test 1. And I'm just going to keep this one in the New York region. I will restrict the file listing, so that means that you can only view, you won't be able to view like the listing of all the files in the in your space if you just visit the domain in the web. We'll get to what that looks like in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and create this space, and then this is our first space. So if I go to this, we're going to get like an access denied key here, so our code of access denied, which is what we wanted because you can't view the contents of our files here. And I have this README file on my desktop. I'm just going to go ahead and drag this in here. And I'm going to set this as public, just so we can view this in the browser. So it's going to upload the file. Upload's done. The file's here. If I refresh this again, I still have access denied. Well, because we can't list those files that are in this folder or in this space. But this file is public, as we can see, permission public. So if we just go ahead and copy this URL or open it in a new tab, we can see that we have hello in this readme.md file. So we're good to go there. So, but I talked about Transmit. How can we get going in Transmit? Let's take a look. So let's go ahead and go back to our DigitalOcean control panel here. Let's go to API up in the nav bar, and then where it says space access keys, let's go ahead and generate a new key. I'm going to name this key main for this video. That works. And I have this key and I have this secret. So let's go ahead and open up Transmit. And let's take a look here. So we can see this connect via SFTP. We don't want to use that because that's not how DigitalOcean's space platform is built that way. It's actually built off of the Amazon S3 structure. So we can actually use the Amazon S3 protocol to connect to our space. So we have this key. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste that in there. And I have this secret. I'm going to copy that and paste that there as well. We have an issue with this address. Look at this, s3.amazonaws.com. Are we connecting to Amazon AWS? No, because we're connecting to a DigitalOcean space. Interesting. Okay, so let's fix that. So let's go back to Spaces real quick and press on our first space that we created, and then go to Settings. And then we can see we have this endpoint. So this endpoint is used to configure third-party clients. Well, Transmit's a third-party client, so we're going to copy this endpoint, and we're going to paste this here. Perfect. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's go ahead and try to connect to this, and we should see we have a space. So here's that space I just created, so TY Test 1. Let's go ahead and look at what we got there, and that's good. We have readme.md. All right, so let's go up a directory, and we still have our space. So let's go ahead and create another space, but using Transmit. So this would be pretty cool if you're doing something on the fly, you don't want to log into DigitalOcean because you just want to make something else, and yada, yada, yada. Very simple. Let's go ahead and right-click here and create a new bucket, or in this case, it's a new space. And let's go ahead and type in TY Test 2. Test 2. Location, I'm just going to leave this default, and let's go ahead and press create. Perfect. All right, but wait, if you would have entered a name there, and let's just try, for example, I'm going to enter that same name twice, so TY Test 2. If I try creating that, it's going to say this name is already in use. So yeah, we cannot reuse a name if somebody else has that space under that name as well. So only one name per space. So probably most likely test is not taken. All right. That's kind of surprising. But you have to have unique names across all accounts. So there you go with that. So off to a good start here. But now let's take a look at this ty-test2 because I want to make it so the directory, the files are listed if we visit that URL in the browser. All right, so let's go ahead and copy this URL and let's go here in our browser and access denied yet again. Okay, let's go ahead and fix that real quick. So let's go ahead and right click on this ty-test2 and go to get info. And then from this sidebar, we can see we have this owner number and this location number. And I'm not seeing what I'm wanting. We should be able to change permissions. We might not be able to do it from here. So let's go ahead and go to Spaces real quick. And we should see our ty-test2, which is right here. Let's go to the settings of this space and let's make it so we can enable the file listing. So we'll do it from here. So regardless, you can still do this so we can at least see the files. Now let's see what that looks like. If I were to refresh this, we should get rid of this access denied because I enabled file listing. There we go. So we have the name of the bucket and then we have our max keys and we have content. So it's working because we don't have this access denied message. All right, off to a great start here. So now I want to upload this readme.md file, and we can do that by just clicking and dragging it into this folder. Well, try it again. There we go. All right, so readme.md is uploaded. Okay, but let's see one thing again. So if I refresh this, there we go. We see readme.md, but let's go ahead and try accessing that, and we should be able to. We had access denied. Well, let's fix that here. So we can do that very. So you should be able to change the permission to world here and go ahead and press apply. And it should make it public, but I'm keeping this invalid request message. So that is not working as of right now. But we can go ahead back here and refresh this and we should see our readme.md file. And then we can make it public here so we can go ahead and view it for the public. So manage permissions and then make this public update. All right, permissions have been updated. All right, so if we go back here, we should be able to refresh that. All right, so if you're wanting to learn more about this Spaces thing that you can use now, you can go back over to DigitalOcean and you can go to their documents, and then you can go to Spaces on the left here. And if you want to find out more information about how to use Transmit, you can go to Resources and then Transmit 5 is which I'm using. And then you can kind of see like the information about how to connect to this using Transmit. And you can see down here how they say that you can fix this, how you should be able to just go ahead and change this to world within Transmit and it will make it public, but that's not working because it wasn't working for us.